here, king h4. And it's only a matter of time before I kick your king away, bring my king in, push my pawn, bring my rook to the last rank, and you're not going to be able to stop my pawn from promoting.
We were talking about technique and what's the way forward in this endgame. I guess Magnus showed us the way forward as we were expecting, knowing that this endgame should be winning for Black is one thing, but then proving it over the board. And it looks like he's on his way to do that.
And he figured this out all on his own, right? He started this endgame better, of course, with a couple extra pawns, but it was really a case of two separate extra pawns. One on the A file and then a doubled H pawn. And I think a lot of people, it goes rook G6 here, maybe just keeping all the pawns protected and doesn't make a difference where the rook went via G7 and G6. But what I was trying to say was he recognized that, double isolate pawns typically are bad, but because of the pawn structure, the way it was from White's positioning, if I just pop that position up just very quickly, when we got here, I think that if this pawn were like on H2 or H3, it'd be a bit of a different story, because then you just kind of keep your king close to the pawns for White, and the Black pawns can't go forward and challenge the pawn. One pawn here stops two of Black's pawns, but when you have a pawn on the G file, you're essentially trying to trade one, and then you have a second passer behind it. So that's the bad part of double pawns. And that's a thing of the past now, because right now the double pawns are excellent. Rook A5 check, well, hard move to predict. You only have one move because your king is stuck. Rook G5 played, H3 next, king H4 to follow. The rest of this game is straightforward.
I think what White wants to do to try to make it a little difficult for Black to advance with the king, Robert, is to place the rook on A4. Let's say you go rook G5. I think we've got a move already. He's gone
Rook
on
A3.
with the rook to A3, H3, and the problem is that if you go rook A4, there's still H2, and you've got to come all the way back with your rook to defend the pawn from queening, so you really can't stop the Black king from advancing.
That's right. The king goes up the board. So we saw instead rook A3 and F4, rook G2 check. I'm guessing a handshake will be happening pretty soon because the White king is cut off after rook G2 check, king F3, king H4 is still good. There it is. There's the handshake. And Magnus Carlsen gets his first win in the 2023 Tata Steel Masters. And Tanya, it was an excellent display of endgame technique.
What a big fight, a marathon game, and a wonderful conversion there by the world champion, showing why he is known as the greatest endgame player of all times. Once again, proving that he indeed has the best technique in the game. Vincent tried his best to keep it, kept on playing, played resourcefully, but it was just never enough. I think from the very beginning, Magnus got a big edge, and when he went into this pawn ending, he believed that it was indeed winning with the Black pieces and went on to prove it. And with that, Magnus wins his first game. Vincent loses his first game of the tournament, but there's so much to take away from it. Playing Magnus is never easy. There we see Vincent. He's definitely disappointed. It's been a long, hard day.
Yeah, he was worse pretty early on, and he tried his best, but Magnus Carlsen, too powerful in that endgame. And for Vincent Keymer, it's just, one of those days where you're playing the best chess player of all time. What are you going to do about it? It's frustrating, especially because he had the white pieces.